Today on Open Mind UAP News, an interview with Brandon Fugal, the owner of the Skinwalker Ranch. What's that got to do with UAP? I'll tell you right after this. UAP became a big deal, and everybody, including Congress, the Pentagon, and even NASA, started paying attention because of an article that came out in December 2017 in the New York Times. It revealed a Pentagon program that allegedly was investigating UFOs. Not necessarily the case. It talked about $22 million being spent on a Pentagon program that was focused on UFO military cases. However, really that $22 million was spent on a program called OSAP, which was inspired by the alleged paranormal phenomena happening at the Skinwalker Ranch. And it included a lot more than UFOs. The researchers there felt that they were seeing poltergeists, cattle mutilations, a whole host of paranormal things, including UAP. Of course, that's our biggest interest, and we want to talk to Brandon Fugal about the UFO aspects of the ranch, what's going on with the ranch, and his hopes for really doing some scientific investigation and hopefully some research papers that will result from the data collection that's going on there at the ranch. I hope you enjoy this interview with Brandon Fugal. I'm happy to be talking once again with Brandon Fugal, the owner of the ranch that is the subject of History Channel's The Secret of Skinwalker Ranch. Now in its fifth season, 5 seasons. Have they flown by for you?
They have. It has been a whirlwind, a blur, if you will, over the course of the last few years as the investigation has evolved, and we've seen The Secret of Skinwalker Ranch gain a global audience. We're currently the #1 series on History Channel. Wow. We also have the #2 series, which is Beyond Skinwalker Ranch, that takes the investigation beyond the borders of the 512-acre mysterious property in northeastern Utah to sites across the country that report similar phenomena with our team of investigators, scientists, and subject matter experts in various fields. So it has been a whirlwind, Alejandra, and it's a pleasure to be visiting with you today. Look forward to answering any questions and excited about what we're unveiling even tonight as the general public tunes in to see our investigation progress.
Yeah, well, maybe let's start with that. So tonight you've got an episode. Tonight we're recording this on a Tuesday, and then next Tuesday you've got 2 episodes as part of your 2-episode finale. So do you have a lot of exciting stuff that's going to be revealed?
Yeah, it's going to be mind-blowing, and I'm not exaggerating. That's not hyperbole. It really is an exciting time for not only frontier science, but for our team to be able to finally speak publicly regarding the events and activities that have taken place over the course of the last year. Tonight's episode follows the investigation and the research and experiments involving Sky Elements, which holds 2 Guinness World Records for world-class precision choreographed drone surveys and displays. They're arguably the leading drone operator in the United States, if not the world. We also have Omnitech, which is an aerospace contractor that works with the defense industry and space on a number of projects, including an artificial intelligence platform named Athena. The CEO of Omnitech, which joins us in a lot of this activity, is Jim Royston, who is the former executive director of the International Space Station National Laboratory, and Sam DeRizzo, who is one of the leading technologists on the planet in this space. So to have Sky Elements deploying an unprecedented number of drones, the most advanced drones that have been thoroughly tested, and to have them working with our team, with Dr. Taylor, Eric Bard, Thomas Winterton, Dragon, Caleb, the whole team, and then to have Omnitech as one of our main technology partners, all witnessing and documenting with hard data the reality of the phenomena at Skinwalker Ranch is a great privilege, and it's an exciting chapter to be unfolding and unveiling to the general public for the first time.
Yeah, that's exciting. And speaking on the edge of science, there's a television. You guys are obviously gathering some data and what appears to be some pretty substantial and incredible data. Are there plans to take that kind of the next step when it comes to scientific research, like getting some research papers written and peer reviewed?
That's a great question. I believe that both Dr. Taylor and Eric Bard, as credentialed physicists, experimentalists, I mean, Eric Bard holds countless patents and his commercialized innovations. They are, I think, anxious to ultimately publish their findings. But with the scientific method and research like this, you have to be repeating experiments and developing a complete data set before drawing certain conclusions or making claims of a definitive nature. And that's what you've seen, I think, unfold over the course of the last several years is a research program and experiments that not only repeat, but also bring in independent third-party credentialed experts with their scientific platforms to better document and validate a lot of the hypothesis and the core claims that have been made relative to the high strangeness at Skinwalker Ranch. I mean, there really isn't another location that we're aware of on the planet that has documented more UFO sightings and activity, or UAP, as we refer to it today, coupled with electromagnetic anomalies. You have a history of bizarre cattle mutilations, as well as animal activity and animal sicknesses, as well as acute medical episodes that have been well documented with team members and visitors that speak to the reality of what is happening. One of the greatest discoveries and data points in our investigation is concerning the electromagnetic anomalies that occur, and everything from GPS malfunctioning across a wide array of platforms and instances to UFOs appearing and unidentified aerial phenomena that seems to attend these events. It's exciting to see all of the correlative activity and evidence accumulating throughout our investigation.
And what are your theories as to what is happening? Why is all this happening here at this ranch?
We have yet to pinpoint the answer to that as of yet. Why is this the center of gravity for so much of the phenomena and this activity? I believe that what we are seeing constitutes a diversity of origins and agendas. I don't believe that there is any one particular origin or cause. And I think the same thing holds true for agendas. I think what we have seen is a combination of malevolence, negative intent, volition that has attended some of the unfortunate events that have occurred. That is disturbing. But we've also had some that appears benign and others that have had inspiring experiences. I mean, there are visitors and team members that have experienced peace, that have experienced great periods of insight relative to their time on the ranch and being party to this investigation. So you see a wide range, and I think that's why you need to have a diversity of experts and scientific platforms that are deployed in service to getting the answers that everyone has been desperately wanting, not only relative to the ranch, but really concerning these topics since the beginning of time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's great you're talking so much about data collection. And, we've heard that from NASA and even from the Pentagon and how important that is. But one of the things that I've been really pushing, what you're talking about is kind of citizen science. You guys aren't waiting for the government to tell you what to do or to give you information. You're out there gathering data on your own, and that's possible. And we can do that as a community. We don't have to wait on anybody else. And that's one
No.
exciting aspect of what you guys are doing.
Yeah. I mean, private sector innovation and resources dedicated to frontier science topics. That's where we're going to see results, in my opinion. I think the fact that we are not beholden to any government entity, that we are not constrained or bound by NDAs or any conditions that would be placed if we were part of a program or taking funding from various sources. I'm quite proud of the fact that I've continued to deploy millions of dollars, if not tens of millions of dollars now, in service to these topics and this research. I don't think there's another effort like it in the world right now. And we have a great responsibility to not only be transparent with the public, in my opinion, but to treat this stewardship, not ownership, but stewardship and responsibility with great care and reverence. I mean, we are touching on topics that I think have very serious implications and also could lead to discovery and insights that would transform our world.
Mm-hmm. Another thing that's unique about you, I think, I wish it was, more common throughout this field, is your positivity. And, speaking about the government, you still, Dr. Travis Taylor used to work for the UAP task force. You've had other people who have worked with the government. And I'm sure a lot of your experts, just like a lot of the ones I work with, also work with the government at time. It doesn't mean we need to be devoid and have, negative relationships with the government. It means we can all work together.
No, it's collaborative. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry to interject, but we believe that it's going to take a collaborative approach, and we have nothing to hide. I think that's something that distinguishes this effort from any other that has gone before, is our transparency and commitment to engaging not only the public, but also providing full disclosure to the appropriate parties in government, at the Pentagon, Washington, D.C., relative to what we are documenting and experiencing. I think we're all in this together. And I think we only will obtain the answers relative to these topics and relative to really the origin and the agendas associated with these topics if we all work together in a collaborative way. And so I actually applaud anyone within the government, within the public sector, that is willing to have the courage to engage, to come forward. I'm so thankful for everyone from fighter pilots, radar technicians, law enforcement, that have all been involved with our program this season. I mean, we are fortunate to have Ryan Graves, a very well-respected fighter pilot who is an experiencer, who engaged unidentified aerial phenomena in his position as a pilot in the military. And we've had others come out. I'd mentioned some of our technology partners that are extremely credentialed. And I think I'm not alone here in saying that we're very, very fortunate and blessed to have the right type of talent and team associated with this effort. But it is requiring, I think, a greater degree of outreach and a wider net being cast than ever before seen relative to these topics.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think what's exciting, especially about Skinwalker, is the huge role it plays. I don't think a lot of people realize it was kind of the impetus to this major kind of turn, and people paying attention to the UAP phenomena, in that, it was really Skinwalker Ranch and investigating it, why that organization started, that came to light in 2017 with the New York Times. And then now with the TV show doing so well, it's still kind of at the forefront of pushing forward research into all of these topics. And what's that been like for you?
Well, the fact that this ranch was at the center of a Pentagon-funded black budget program studying UAP or UFO activity and some of the other strangeness underscores how important this is. I owe a lot to my predecessor. I have to give great tribute and respect to Robert Bigelow of Bigelow Aerospace, accomplished, very successful real estate billionaire who has put his money where his mouth is. And he really paved the way. I mean, we stand on the shoulders of giants, as they say. And I have to applaud Mr. Bigelow and the team that he had assembled initially in the early years to not only investigate the ranch, but also to shine a light on these topics and to bring scientific rigor and discipline to the arena that is fraught with all sorts of conflict and a lot of challenges. So I'm quite humbled to be the steward of this really intriguing place and to be leading the effort that involves such an incredible group of professionals. For a lot of people that continue to be quite critical, quite skeptical, I have to say that I understand. I have empathy, and I see, critical thinking as being a key part of separating the signal from the noise. But I think the data that we continue to present in a transparent way to the general public is compelling and eye-opening, and I would hope that others will stand up and have the courage to come forward with not only their data, but also the reality of what they've experienced. I'm really inspired by, you look at Ryan Graves and others that have been willing to come forward with their own experiences and their own testimony. And I would hope that we're going to see more of that in the future as we try to get to the bottom of what the hell is going on in our airspace, in our world. What is the nature of reality? What is our place in the universe? Are we alone? Or are we part of a divinely constructed, intelligently designed reality that may be monitored by beings that have command over space, time, advanced physics? All of this comes into play and under the microscope of our investigation at Skinwalker Ranch.
Mm-hmm. When it comes to you personally and personal experiences with the ranch, if someone was to say, what kind of stuff is definitely going on out there, what would be your answer to that?
Well, without question, the continued activity involving unidentified aerial phenomena that seems to correlate with electromagnetic anomalies, even GPS malfunctions, and acute medical episodes that occur, I think bring a level of credibility and hard data to these topics. It helps us take it beyond the sphere of anecdotal evidence and storytelling to actual documented evidence and a record that people will be reflecting on for generations to come. It's going to be interesting to see how this all unfolds, my friend.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's a big message too, is that there's a lot forthcoming. So kind of when you talk to the skeptics, I think they need to offer patience as well, because as you mentioned, data gathering is something that takes some time. And you've got to get to a certain level before you can begin to present it. But what's exciting is, like you said, you're working with the type of people who that's most likely their end goal as well. They want to be published and they want to get this out as well.
Sure. And people want answers. I want answers. I mean, I've invested more than anyone on the planet that I'm aware of over the course of the last years in service to getting the answers and understanding what is happening and how that applies to the world around us, to our own consciousness and our role in the universe. And I'm hoping that these answers will bring new insights that will help propel, I think, our development. At the very least, I think we're being able to separate that which is fact from fiction in a powerful way. My deal with the History Channel from the beginning, when I allowed a docuseries effort to take place on this property, was that nothing could be faked or fabricated, contrived. That it had to be an absolute true record and presentation of what the team was experiencing, sometimes in real time. And that creates an awkward discussion and circumstance when my people don't have the ability to go back and carefully analyze a lot of what was captured in the moment on camera. But that's part of the genuine, authentic nature of this docuseries, is you're seeing what unfolds in real time and how this team reacts. I've never seen a script or a piece of paper given to anyone prompting them to do something or to act out anything or to pronounce anything. It is a real accounting of an ongoing scientific investigation that actually is 24/7, 365 days a year. I mean, we have over 50 surveillance cameras, thermographic imaging, infrasonic sensors. We have scientific platforms deployed on this property that have never been seen in the private sector like this, in service to monitoring and documenting what is happening on this property. It's no surprise that we continue to see covert military surveillance interrupt our investigation and appear in the midst of some of the most compelling events that are occurring. And that just adds another level of mystery. I mean, what really is happening, and why is it garnering this much very extraordinary attention?
Mm-hmm. When it comes to personal experiences, is there one that you mull around quite a bit when you're kind of sitting around, going to bed or what have you? Is there one where you're like, man, that really makes you think a lot?
You bet. I bought the ranch as a skeptic, as someone who'd never seen a UFO, an orb, or ghost, or anything of the sort. And I believed that there was a natural prosaic explanation. I told Mr. Bigelow that, my predecessor. And that's how I entered this fray. I went from being an open-minded skeptic to not just a believer, but an experiencer on October 14th, 2016, when, following documented electromagnetic anomalies, rapid battery depletion of all of our devices, even one of the attending security rendered catatonic for a period of 10 minutes, following a whole sequence of unexplained events, in traveling back to the security trailer, or what we now call the command center, we saw what appeared right above the mesa before us as a UFO, as an unidentified flying object. It was a gray silver disc-like object that appeared and maneuvered in ways that were just astounding. And watching that play out in broad daylight, 4:00 in the afternoon on October 14th, 2016, with multiple witnesses sitting there with their jaws agape, witnessing the same thing. These gentlemen I'd never met before that day. I haven't made contact with them personally since. The only person who has reached out to them just to maintain not only contact, but also get their testimony immediately following it, independent and sequestered away from each other, is Eric Barb, our principal investigator. But that event and that UFO sighting in broad daylight right above the mesa in front of us that day changed my entire perspective and worldview. And it inspired me to not only double down, investing immediately millions of dollars in service to establishing the scientific platforms and the surveillance assets, but also pulling together a team that would help us get the answers. A multidisciplinary team of individuals that would all be focused on helping us study the environment and get some answers. And the rest is history. And now on History Channel for the world to see as it unfolds. And I think what people are going to witness tonight with the latest episode, what they've seen play out over the course of the last few weeks, I'm biased, but I think it's stunning. I don't believe that there has ever been a program, a docuseries in history that has presented more evidence relative to the reality of the phenomena
Mm-hmm.
than what we've been able to thankfully present. And I think we're just getting warmed up.
Mm-hmm. I know you got to run, but would you say that's a secret of the success of the show? I mean, going strong, 5 seasons, that's a lot. What would you say is the secret?
I think the secret is it's real, it's authentic, and you're dealing with real people. I'd never been on television. I'd never had aspirations to be on television, let alone have my name associated with these crazy topics. My team members, with one exception, that be Dr. Taylor, all shared the same view. I mean, no one had been on television, and no one really desired to be part of a high-profile docuseries effort relative to these topics. But everyone reluctantly went along when I was convinced that it would be in everyone's best interest to take advantage of the finest documentary resources on the planet. And here we are. It has been an incredible journey so far, and I'm thankful. I think that it's inspiring to be part of such an amazing group of people that are all dedicated to getting some answers and documenting things that have been talked about since the beginning of time, that people have talked about for ages, but in most cases have been unable to actually back up with data, with evidence. And we are a data-driven effort. Erica Bard, our principal investigator, often reminds us that we are not driven or led by an inherited narrative. We are led by the data. And that is what is really helping us as far as directing the experiments and the research as we move forward, and we let the public see behind the curtain, and to have a place inside of the gates of the most scientifically studied paranormal hotspot on the planet. So it's been a privilege talking with you today. Great to be with you. I'm so thankful for all those who have been following our journey globally, and all I can say is watch out. It's going to continue to be an eye-opening ride for all of us as we continue on this journey together. But right. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Yeah, the journey doesn't end. I'm sure we'll be talking about doing this work for years to come. But great catching up with you. Thank you so much for taking the time.
No, thank you. And thank you for all of your great work. You've championed these topics for a long time. I've actually used a lot of your articles and a lot of the research that you have conducted as part of the reference library. So I have to give you great credit.
Thank you,
Alejandro. And thank you for your contributions to the field and having the courage. So consider yourself part of the team and part of the expanded effort at the ranch. It's a privilege.
Great honor.
Appreciate it. Good luck with you and the team at Enigma.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you to Brandon for joining us for this interview. He's just a really great guy, a very positive influence in this field, really open to working with people. And I'm very excited about the data collection that he's got going on because, of course, that's my thing, is focusing on collecting data and then getting that data analyzed and some papers out there to show what's going on with some of this research into anomalous phenomena. I also want to thank you all for joining me. I know this is a short show because there hasn't been a lot of UAP news. However, I am keeping busy, and including with what we're doing at Enigma Labs. A couple things to look out for. I did do a video that I posted today for the Roswell Daily Record for the Roswell event that I was at. In this video, I highlighted Starling sightings because we're getting a lot of those, and also some of my favorite sightings. Go check that video out on the Open Minds YouTube. I took out the Starling stuff for the video I posted today, and it's just kind of my best of out of the Enigma Labs videos that we've gotten. So you'll definitely want to check that out. Also, in the next coming days, I've done a lot more research on Starlink and SpaceX and what is what they've got up there that is causing UAP reports. And I'll be putting together a longer video going over all of that in the next few days. So keep an eye out for that. Also, if you have missed it, on the Enigma Labs Twitter, we did an interview with some Navajo Rangers who have investigated the paranormal. Great couple guys that you can see on a show related to the Skinwalker show called Beyond Skinwalker. But Open Minds and Enigma Labs have a lot more that we're doing when it comes to UAP, and we're not stopping anytime soon. So I hope you keep enjoying our content. And if you haven't already, don't forget to download the app. Just go to the Apple iStore and look for Enigma. Or if you don't have an iPhone, we'll get to Android soon. You can still go to the website enigmalabs.io to look at sightings and submit your sighting. Thanks again for tuning in. We'll talk to you next time.